the giant old world buildings from the old empire, and of course you see the buildings from the outside, you see the domes and the arches, but then when you go inside and you look from the ground above towards the ceiling, you just get amazed. And you just literally, when I saw one of these back in the day, I saw one in England, and of course I saw others, but the ones because I was in England in an excursion in a place, and I literally saw it with my own eyes. And this is everywhere in the world, not just in England. It was an example. And I literally just stood there underneath it, and my mouth was open. Literally, like the first impression, and I was another adult, not a kid. My first impression was my mouth open, staring like in shock, in amazement, in wonder. And the first thing that came to my mind is, well, two things came to my mind. One, that we are not the builders, in my opinion. And two, the ancient people, the old people of our ancestors are not the builders either. So, because this is the thing that comes to, so, and again, the whole thing with energy, frequency, vibration, sound. In this case, we speak about sound and vibration, and the echoes and how it works with the sound. So that's the domes inside. That's why even the word Om, dome, Om. OHM, very interesting grammar there. And then we have the grand arches. Again, everywhere in the world, people usually think about an arch like the Arch of Triumph in Paris, right? That's the first thing that comes to your mind. Or the one in Chicago from the World Climbing Expedition. Many of them destroyed, Russia and Germany, the same arches, but you see this architecture all across the world. So unless everybody came to an agreement back in the past, in the old world days, to build the same buildings over and over again, people with different languages, right? Because, like, for example, Germany and Japan, they have nothing in common. They're totally different two languages, and yet you go and you see the exact same building, not even like a slight difference. And if it was a difference, it's minor. So the exact same building in two countries which are geographically super distant and culturally nothing in common. And the same goes with Germany and Russia and all the other countries. So it does shock you. It does shock you when you see the same buildings in terms of domes, of arches, of ceilings, of columns, of statues, and of course they're gigantic. Africa, look at this. It punches you in the face of amazement of the size of the buildings. You go to Asia, Japan and Hong Kong, China. You go to India, other parts in Asia, India and other parts of Asia. So India is also in Asia. So and also Oceania, right? Australia. Again, Asia and Australia, Japan and Australia. India, which is, you compare the buildings and they're exactly the same across different parts. Turkey and India, right? So Turkey as well. Again, other parts of Asia, including the countries which are linked to Hindu type of what we call today Hindu. In India, again, although the architecture in India is a bit different, but it has the same purpose as the architecture in Europe and America and Africa. Exactly the same purpose. It's just the design is a bit different, but it has the same type of things. Then you go to South America, right? You have North America, but you have South America, and people don't usually speak about South America as much. I guess so that you don't think too much about the comparison between North America and South America and also the rest of the world. And then it's exactly the same thing. This is Mexico City. Again, Mexico City. Mexico is North America, not South America. So South America and North America are identical in the old world. These are real estates that are in private ownership. So what we call the rich people with money. And all of them are from the 19th century. So you see all of them from the 19th century all across the world. Some of them were demolished. As if the people in the 1800s, they just, they were like the rich people. And then by the early 20th century, because they decided to sell the property or to destroy it, and all of a sudden you have lots of these properties destroyed. As if there's no continuation. And if I was like a rich man from the 19th century, then I would just leave the property to my son and daughters, right? But then you have all these, and you always have the same type of thing. Or they were built in the 1800s. And then some of them were demolished in the late 1800s or early 1900s, or some of them are still alive today. which are in the properties of the very rich. Again, so think about the dome, ohm, even the sound ohm, and then you go there and the echoes inside the old buildings. One of the things that shocks me a lot is these type of pictures. So I was in one of these buildings in the UK, and I was so amazed about the distance from the floor to the ceiling, and of course you're not allowed to yell, but I started speaking a bit with a higher voice, and the echo was so amazing. It felt like in a different dimension, in a different world. And you just look at the precision in the building, and in some of these places they say they were built in the 13th and 14th centuries. 13th century is the 1200s. So in the 1200s with horse and buggy, and that's the main storyline, right? When they say it was built like that. Why many of them were destroyed? You can imagine like the amount of pain that is within your mind and body when you see a building like this collapsing intentionally. So, and of course, when you see then bombings from Zeppelins and planes, then that's also a story. Now, Germany and Russia, right? It says here, obviously they hired the same architects so they could build monuments and fight each other, because Russia and Germany, Second World War, right? The Capitol and Memorial Arch in Connecticut, 1800s. Triumphal Arch in Russia. Look at this. So Russia and Germany, and then you have America, North America, same buildings, and then you have Russia, same buildings. Germany and Japan. This has totally obliterated my intellectual capacity, because they're exactly identical. And Japan is a very far away country. The Holbrook Memorial Arch in Detroit, Michigan, along with other parts which are the same type of architecture in Germany, Russia, America, etc. Africa, in Tunisia, in South Africa, and in Senegal. Like, come on, Africa is a huge continent. You have the same type of buildings, which are exactly the same as the ones in Asia. Tokyo in Japan and Hong Kong in China. Bangkok in Thailand and Sydney in Australia. Like, come on, like Thailand and Australia, again, they're totally different cultures and languages and people. Japan, the Asakusa Luna Park, and Sydney, Australia. Even though they're in Oceania, right? But there's still a huge difference between Japan and Australia. State Bank of India, Bombay High Court in India, and Lucknow in India. And then Turkey. This is Turkey. This is in India. This is in India and other places of Asia. This is in Santiago, Chile, South America, right? But then you go to, Peru. You go to Argentina. Same stuff. Then you go back up from South America to Mexico, Mexico City. Mexico, again, the giant arches at the doors, very huge, very big, and the precision of the making of the stone. Inside, with the organ pipes and the designs, and it seems like you're in Rome, right? And then you have the rich people houses, right? This one, for example, North Carolina, the Biltmore Estate in the 1800s, residence of affluent John Jacob Astor in New York, 1920s. 1910s, the Smith residence, Perry Smith, demolished in 1918, and then the William A. Clark House in the late 19th century. You see, it says that in 1925, Mr. Clark passed away, and his family sold the house for $3 million, which, according to the money of our day, would be $40 million. And then the new owners decided to tear the house down. I just don't get it. It just blows me away. So Mr. Clark passes away. I guess he has no, his family has no interest in living in such a big place. So let's sell it for money, because we need money to live. Now, $3 million in 1925 is $40 million in the 21st century, right? Lots of money, of course. You would live happily ever after if nothing changes. But then the new owners, you tear the house down. So you pay $40 million equivalent in today's money, and then you just demolish the place. And it just, for me, it's so shocking. The San Francisco, late 19th century, early 20th century. Lots of residents. New York is supposed to have been built, it says here built in 1860, right? And sometimes I just look at this and say, is there something underneath the ground? Is this just like the top? Because you see, like, we see these domes on the top of the building. So if this is like a dome, is this like the top of the building and then underneath it, it's buried in the ground? I'm just asking the question. It's just a question. So I'm just asking. And California, right? Built from well, demolished in 1902. So built from 1884 to 1886 and then demolished in 1902. Doesn't make any sense. So I hope you enjoyed the awesomeness of these structures, and I'll see you guys in the next video.